Hey everyone, how's it going? Stanley here, and today I'm bringing you guys some Call of Duty Black Ops 4 gameplay. You guys are going to be seeing a 90 kill game on Nuketown along with a nuclear gameplay on Seaside, and these two gameplays are pretty good in my opinion. So I got them pretty recently and just been looking for a reason to upload them. But anyways, the topic I wanted to cover for today is Call of Duty 2019. Now obviously a lot of the leaks have been pointing toward COD 2019 being Modern Warfare 4, but you know, that's not officially confirmed, I don't think, although, you know, once again all the leaks seem to point toward that direction, and so if it does come out to be Modern Warfare 4, I have nothing against it, and I think that would be a very cool idea. Now there's a couple things as far as Modern Warfare, like my wish list would go, and first thing is first is that I hope that there's more content, and I mean, when I say content, I don't mean like just stickers and tags and calling cards, you know, that stuff I don't care about. You know, I want more launch content like what Modern Warfare 3 had back when it first launched. You know, it had a ton of weapons in all categories. I think the only category that didn't have any weapons was like pistols, but even then there was a ton of them, and so that's just the category I would like to see, you know, filled with content. I want multiplayer to feel fleshed out and good again, you know. Not to say Black Ops 4 multiplayer was bad. I think the gameplay, the gunplay, and the fluidity of the mode is fabulous. Like, it's absolutely phenomenal. I love the way that Black Ops 4 feels and the way that it plays. However, I just think that just the lack of content really, you know, reduces that will for me to want to grind, you know. So just a little bit of, you know, my 2 cents starting off to talk about Modern Warfare 4, but to talk about Modern Warfare 4 as a whole, before we enter talking about multiplayer here, obviously it's just gonna have a campaign and Spec Ops, and to be honest, I was never a huge fan of both. And to all the people that do buy Call of Duty for only campaign, I think personally you're missing out. I mean, I never hear anyone saying that, oh my god, campaign is so much like replayability, right? Campaign's usually just like almost like a one-time deal, you know, if even that, you know. And it really surprises me that a majority of people buy COD to play campaign. I don't know how accurate that statistic is, or even anymore. I know that was a long time ago, I think, but that was a stat at one point. I don't understand the mentality behind that, but hey, you know, to each their own, right? But yeah, you know, I definitely see that campaign and Spec Ops coming back. I hope that, you know, Modern Warfare campaigns have generally been pretty good, been pretty memorable. I enjoyed, you know, the Modern Warfare series, and so Modern Warfare 3 left off on a pretty solid ending, but I don't see much for where it could continue. But once again, you know, like I said, they have plenty of things that they could go for, so not worried about that. But speaking of campaign, that was the thing that was omitted for this year for the Blackout. And so if we're going to be on the topic of Battle Royale, there's been no mention of Battle Royale, and I think there is no Battle Royale this year, which to me doesn't affect me. I think I welcome the idea of Battle Royale. I think that was a very good addition to Black Ops 4. It's a little unfortunate I took out campaign for it, but once again, like I said, I'm not a big campaign person, so realistically it's only affecting those that actually care a ton about campaign. You know, but I guess this year people are going to be happy again, right? But at the end of the day, people are going to cry about something over and over, you know. But anyways, so no Blackout. I hope that Blackout does continue to get updates. I hear that there are rumors that it's going to become standalone and perhaps even free to play, and you know, that would be good for the game. And I think that if they continue to update it, perhaps even with some Modern Warfare assets, it would be really cool to see. I know that I would be like really enjoying Blackout if I was able to use new guns and stuff like that. But once again, you know, Blackout is Treyarch's baby, and so I don't know if that is a viable option. Like I said, once again, you know, if this year's COD doesn't get any sort of Battle Royale, I'm not against it. I mostly spend my time in multiplayer anyways, so, you know, that is that. Now, as far as Spec Ops goes, I mean, I never played a ton of Spec Ops. I mainly just played, I mean, I would go through every single mission, and I would do survival, and I think every single map at least one time, and then I just remember I didn't put very much time into it. I can see myself pouring the same amount of time into zombies of Black Ops 4 that I do with Spec Ops. And to put that in perspective, I don't play very much zombies in Black Ops 4. I don't even know if I have a day played. I might have a day played, but no more than that. And that's due to just trying out new maps and gauntlets. But replayability wise, I don't really feel the need to keep playing. Now obviously for Black Ops 4 Zombies, that's a topic for another day, but that was the case with Spec Ops as well. You know, I enjoyed playing a couple missions with buddies, but they're not really things that I would look to say like Blackout or something, where I would say like, hey, you want to go play Blackout? It's a whole new like game mode and gives a new thrill, you know. But once again, like I said, I think Spec Ops is very tied to Modern Warfare 4 as a foundational game mode, and so seeing it return, I think, would just be a good thing for the fan base to see. How well it'll stack up, I don't know, but I mean, if it does stack up well, hey, to each their own, right? Now that we covered the 2 modes, now let's quickly touch on zombies too, right? Will we see zombies in Modern Warfare 4? I highly doubt it. I don't think that they will go that route. Unfortunately, I kind of wish that they went with extinction or continued extinction, because I thought that extinction was something very unique, right? It felt like a Left 4 Dead except with aliens, and I think that that was a good change of pace. You know, I think zombies was a little bit overused, and no one really could grasp zombies like the way Treyarch could. And I mean, each company has their own, or each developer has their own, you know, twist on their own game. But that being said, I think that none of them really is as fleshed out, or, you know, people don't feel as connected to the other developers' modes of zombies, you know. And so I think extinction was a good way to go, but unfortunately I don't know if they're willing to continue that. As far as I'm concerned, I think Spec Ops is most likely that third and last game mode. So just my 2 cents on that. Would I welcome zombies? Definitely. But once again, like I said, I don't think that they're going to do it. Now, coming to multiplayer, I think the first biggest thing is I hope that there are no specialists. Now, I'm not a guy who completely resents specialists, right? I'm not a guy who hates specialists to the guts, hates specialists to the core. I think they're annoying, but they don't completely ruin the game for me, right? They don't render the game unplayable for me. You can play around them, right? There's counterplay between the abilities, and in a sense too, when someone's just camping in a building, Firebreak and Battery does a great job at flushing them out, you know. And if Torque's all set up inside, 1-0 EMP will neutralize everything, you know. And so that could be very, very beneficial to do, you know, and you can counter a lot of different play styles, you know. So I think specialists bring a certain sense of counterplay to it, but at the same time, I think ooh, look at that guy, he got destroyed. But I think that this sort of counterplay shouldn't belong in Call of Duty, just simply because there are a lot of good things that come out of specialists, but at the same time, the bad things such as Secret Drone, 9-bang, Ajax. I mean, Ajax with the shield is absolutely just busted, you know. And you sometimes, if you have a bad teammate, you're trying to kite the Ajax and he can't kill you. You can only buy so much time before he eventually is able to kill you, you know. And then meanwhile, your teammate is, you know, scratching his balls, wondering how to shoot at a guy with his back, you know. And it's a little unfortunate, but like I said, some of these abilities really are kind of annoying, you know. Ruin's Grab Slam, you just blink and you die, you know, and that's really, really unfortunate. And then, you know, personally, like, you know, people like Recon, or, you know, personally, I don't know how I feel about Recon, because of him, we don't have the SR-71 anymore, or the Blackbird, Hater, whatever you want to call it, or Orbital V-Side, if that's your forte. But it's just a little unfortunate that because of him, we weren't able to get that streak. But once again, like I said, right, specialists bring a different dynamic to the table, and I just don't think that the dynamic that they bring is outweighing their negatives, if that makes any sense, right?
Kidding me, bro.
But you know, it's a shame. I really love Crash. I love his, you know, TAC 5. I love the whole what's it called, ammo crate that he can bring. And I mean, the fact that I can free up Scavenger because he just offers ammo, I mean, it's phenomenal. I love this playstyle, you know. And so it's really great, but like, you know, once again, it's just unfortunate that that the community doesn't want specialists, right? And I think Treyarch may have implemented them a little bit too much this time around.
Dude,
so
loves that spot, bro.
Anyways, that's enough of a rant on specialists. Next thing is the health system. I do hope that the health system does stay, actually. I am a fan of 150 health. I think 150 health is a very good increase in skill. I mean, if you're able to dodge more bullets, you're able to survive more. Sure, the enemies are able to survive more, but keep in mind that the bad players have to essentially aim and track better. I made a video on this before explaining why 150 health is better, and you know, basically I still stand by that video. I think that 150 health just allows the better players to really abuse the lack of tracking of a bad player, and it allows you to survive more things, I guess, using sliding and jumping and all of these different movement abilities to increase like your decrease the ability for the enemy to hit you. So I think that's very important. And stim shot, obviously, I think should return. I love manual healing. I think that really allows a rusher to keep rushing, you know. And for me, for someone who plays so aggressively, stim shot is almost a must. I don't think I have a class without stim shot, and so I absolutely think stim shot is just a must for me. So I would love to welcome the 150 health back along with the manual healing. I think that allows the skill gap to be a lot greater than what previous Call of Duties have made it to be. Now, moving on here, speaking of, you know, stim shot, there are other equipment as well, you know, acoustic sensor, ComSec device. Obviously, these are basically perks put into the equipment category, and what we see is this very, how do I put this, like equipment taking up a new slot, I guess, in our custom class. Ooh, look at that lag. But I mean, I think personally they should go back to being perks, you know, but I wouldn't mind if they stay equipment. I don't ever use them. It's a little unfortunate, as, you know, personally I really liked Infinity Ward's games because they do footsteps really, really well. I think they do audio extremely well, and their games are realistically the only games where I could really sound whore someone. So I hope that does return. I think Infinite Warfare, because of the jetpacking, it was a little harder to hear footsteps, but it wasn't impossible. And Ghost, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, even COD 4, like, you could just hear footsteps a mile away. And so there's so much counterplay between Dead Silence and SITREP that I really enjoyed. And I thought that, you know, it really forces players to be aware of not just what's on their screen or their radar, but also, you know, the sound and the audio, right? So just something to keep in mind. I think that is a very good addition. Hardline, personally, if it doesn't come back as a ComSec device, I don't mind. I think it would be very cool to see, you know, it being a perk again. And, you know, as far as armor goes, I could see armor going. I think armor, as where it's at right now in Black Ops 4, I think is fine. I think armor is completely fine where it's at. It doesn't really, I mean, it's a one-time use, right? You're going to use it one time, you get into the first gunfight, and it's more than likely it's over. And so I think that, and plus FMJ completely just destroys armor, and so with that being said, I think that armor isn't that big a deal. If it returns, no biggie for me, right? But obviously there's an outcry against armor, and so will it return? Probably not. You know, if they're listening to the community, they wouldn't do it again. Now, coming over to, instead of talking about custom classes and stuff like that, I do hope that the weaponry is modern day. I've been itching for modern day weaponry, and so I miss it. I hope that it does come back. And but speaking of, you know, the guns and stuff like that, I hope there are a lot of them, you know, coming back to the whole content idea. I want there to be more content, just more guns to use, and I like the whole contraband idea, the ability to grind. Personally, I would make the time to grind a little shorter, or maybe make more daily challenges so that we can maybe unlock 3 tiers per day as opposed to just 2. Just small things like those, I think that would really help the longevity of the game. Personally, I think supply drops should just go. I think, or if reserve crates are to be a thing, I think that they should just be strictly skins, and the skins should be unlocked for every single gun, unlike what Treyarch is doing here, right? I think that, oh my god, that guy just destroyed, dude. But I think that, you know, when you unlock a camo, they should be unlocked for every single gun, not just for that one gun, because realistically speaking, getting those things from reserve crates for the gun that you want is just so unlikely that I think it's just way too unfair. And so, you know, if they put it in the contraband stream and, you know, don't really make it any easier to grind, then that's fair, I guess, you know. But make it in a way that we can unlock it, you know, and make it viable that we can unlock it. So that's just my things about that. What else is there? Oh, well, talking about class, by the way, I also want kill streaks to be tied to classes once again. And as crazy as that sounds, the reason for that is because I think that will make things way more efficient. You don't have to change your streaks every single time around. Let's say even AR class that's more designed around a big open map, right? Because, you know, generally there are longer lines of sight, and therefore you decide that you want to use that class. But you want those streaks to be, say, like assault streaks, because they can really go ham on a map like that, right? And so, you know, that way you don't have to change up your streaks or forget about it. Now, obviously, you can still change them and it's no big deal. But, you know, at the end of the day, I hope that they still allow you to, how do I put this, basically tie your streaks to the class. I think that would probably make it most efficient. Yeah, speaking of streaks though, I actually want all 3 set of streaks to return. By that I mean I want assault, support, and specialist to return. And when I say specialist, it's not the heroes or whatever you want to call them to return. Rather, I want the specialist to basically be that perk system where it allows you to use that super soldier and get the nuke. I want the nuke to return. I'm pretty sure it's going to return. I don't see like Infinity Ward games not having their nuke. I think it's one of their standard signature kill streaks they brought into the game, and they will keep bringing it into the game. So I think, you know, specialist is just such a good combo with the tactical Moab nuke, whatever you want to call it, that I think it would be stupid to not bring it back. Now support, I hope that support doesn't have anything lethal or anything too busted, right? I think EMP is okay at 18 kills like it was in Modern Warfare 3. I mean, essentially, think about it, you get 36 kills and that's 2 EMPs and that's it, you know, and doesn't last for a long time. And if you're a bad player, it's going to take you a while to get those 36 kills, right? And so, you know, next set after that would be what, 54 kills, and I just think that's unlikely for, you know, a bad player who relies on support to get, you know. Obviously, if the game prolongs long enough, then perhaps they might be able to pull it off. But, you know, besides that, I would only allow that to be the most lethal that a support streak should be, right? I don't want any stealth bombers. I don't want any remote sentries or whatever. I don't know if remote sentries are support, but I think they are back in Modern Warfare 3. But, you know, like I said, I enjoy UAV, you know, ammo crate, and I mean ammo crate. I love that shit. That was my shit back in the day. UAV or SATCOM, ammo crate, and ballistic vest. That was the setup in COD Ghost. And UAV ballistic vest. That was the setup in Modern Warfare 3. I love playing support for that reason, and so I think it's a lot of fun to have all 3 support streaks. And even for a player like me who's easily KO. There's the nuclear, by the way. Didn't even notice, but as you can hear, I'm like freaking out. I don't know if I'll keep the game volume in here, but I was really surprised because I definitely was not expecting it. I played hella aggressive, but back on topic, I think that, you know, support streaks, just stay support, and I think that it will be really, really enjoyable. You know, obviously I also want attack chopper. I don't H6 Overwatch. That was what it was, you know, just have a bunch of lethal streaks that are actually lethal and are actually enjoyable to use, you know. And so if they have that, I think that, you know, the kill streaks will be competing for each other. You know, some people might want to go for nukes, they'll run specialists. Some people want to just dominate, they'll go for assault, and some people just want to play support, and they can, you know. And so those are just, you know, what I want for kill streaks. You know, I hope that they do that once again. And next thing is, I hope that, you know, if we're talking about, you know, gameplay and stuff like that, I hope that the gunplay and the feel of the game would be like Infinite Warfare, but without the thrusters. I think Infinite Warfare plays out really, really well. It has a fluid feel to it. It's not quite as fast as, you know, Black Ops 4, I would say, but it definitely feels good enough. I definitely don't want to go back to something like Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2. The game is too slow then, and I think that it would just be more detrimental to COD than it would be to I guess appeal to the old school fan base, right? I mean, we take a look at what happened to Modern Warfare Remastered. That's just a clusterfuck. I mean, that's a horrible, like, don't get me wrong, COD 4 was a good game in its time. You know, I think nostalgia is a bitch, and, you know, definitely I don't think that an old school way of Call of Duty mobility is good for this game. I think if they put it in Infinite Warfare and basically just take away the thrusters, all the futuristic shit, and make it modern, I think the game would be a-okay. Next thing as well is hit detection. I hope that hit detection stays as good as the way Infinity Ward games usually are. Infinity Ward games are usually really, really good with hit detection. Take a look at COD Ghost. I mean, Modern Warfare 2, sure, Modern Warfare 3 had a little bit of wonky moments at times, but that's what happens when you have peer-to-peer, I guess. But either way, I mean, COD Ghost had phenomenal hit detection, and matched up with 150 health, you guys won't feel like you're getting melted all the time, you know, and the ability to manual heal increases the speed and aggression of the game. So I think that the 3 of them would just be a wombo combo, and, you know, this game is going to feel good. You know, if they keep this mobility, they keep their standard hit detection, Infinity Ward is going to be set up to make a really, really good game. As far as maps go, I think, you know, if you get the map like Arcaden, Seatown, first of all, I want original maps, right? And hopefully they're good, right? It's hard to make original maps that are good all the time, and I get that. But I hope that, you know, with Black Ops 4's launch maps, I think they launched with 12 or something, but 4 of them were remastered maps. And so with that being said, I want 12 maps to be original, and if they want to bring back some remastered maps, hey, I'm all for it. I just want more original content with some nostalgic feels into the map pool, right? I wouldn't mind that, and I think that would be very, very good for the game. If it launches with as many maps as it used to back in the older CODs, I think that this game would be set up for a lot of success. And obviously we don't want maps like Downturn or something like what are some other maps? Interchange. Actually, Interchange was all right, but we just don't want maps like those, right? We want maps like Seatown. We want maps like Arcaden. We want maps like Dome. All these maps I think are very, very welcome in the COD community, and I think that people will be very excited to see them return. Gosh, what else? Now that we talk about maps, just like I said, I think overall content, I mean, just a lot to grind. I mean, if you get the gameplay down, you get the whole maps down. I mean, if you can get your content up, I think this game is going to be set up for a very, very good life cycle, right? If they keep the same perks, I think I don't want any overpowered perks. Assassin's Pro was extremely busted back in Modern Warfare 3. I don't want stopping power. We don't want death streaks. All that bullshit we don't need, but rather we just want essentially like Modern Warfare 3 without the bullshit, right? And obviously, increase it to be faster, and more enjoyable, I guess. Some people might like old school, slower paced COD, but I think that the majority of the community are not interested in it. Otherwise, there'd be more people playing Modern Warfare Remastered, right? Especially since it also went free to play a couple months back, or 2 months ago, I think, to be exact. And so, if there's still no one playing that even after it's gone free to play, I mean, fuck, that tells you something, So, just once again, that's my 2 cents. I have a lot of hope going into 2019's COD. I want this COD to be really good. Don't get me wrong, Black Ops 4 is still enjoyable for me. I like playing the game. I still enjoy it. The content, every time there's a massive update, there's a reason for me to play. I even have reason to think that I might even hit level 1000. We'll just have to see. I hope that when COD 2019 drops, I don't instantly just want to go back to Black Ops 4, and play that for another year or so, yeah, and that's pretty much it. All I have for Modern Warfare 3. Hopefully there's no season pass either, like I said. I hope that they just release it for free. I think that'd just be fair and way, way better for the whole player base. So, a lot of hope for this. I know it's a little bit rushed and there's a lot of rant in this video, but I hope you guys have enjoyed the gameplay and I hope you guys have enjoyed the commentary. And on that note, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Oh, that was me. I just died right there.